We come with messages of love and messages of light. And as this transmission is coming through with energy of Merlin, as his energetic essence is surrounding the space in which you sit now. We want to talk about the coding in your DNA, and to which you talk about strands. Strands, we would say, are not the accuracy in which the vibration of what the DNA is. We would call them interwoven information and messages. The DNA sits in an interwoven, layered message of not only your ancestors and the choices you made to come into this soul contract, but each layer upon layer of the message is as you ascend and as you grow. So you can only unlock DNA as you step into the new version of yourself, as you become somebody new, which means you are removing the old layers of thoughts and behavioral patterns and stepping into more light. So with more light, your DNA holds more messages of light, which is high vibrational and high frequency. So if the frequency of the messages is higher in vibration and higher in light, of course, it will change your physicality. It will make you more telepathic. It will make you more empathy. An empath. It can make you stronger. It can make you look differently. It can make you, all of these things, have a higher connection to source, have emotional feelings that you were closed off to before, but now you can feel the tree. You can feel the messages in the wind. You can feel the message in the sunlight that shines onto your skin, as opposed to just being in the sun. And these layers come with your DNA. So think about your DNA as a saucepan. It's there for things to be filled in. And you can change your recipe, you can change the ingredients, and you can feed yourself something different. But when you start to get into the quality of items you're putting into the saucepan, of course, your taste will then elevate. So you are moving through elevation. And the saucepan is full of all the things that you need at any time. It's just whether you can taste every single ingredient or not. Every single herb, every single dash of sauce. Can you distinguish and can you individualize those particular flavors? Because once you're aware of them and you know they're in the pot, now you can use them to your advantage. For example, psychic abilities and reading aura and energy is already in you. The people that are doing that are not special. They just have more awareness that they're able to do it, that they're accessing the ability, that they've tasted that ingredient and now are using it. You all have it. The same as you all have the ability to heal yourself and to cure yourself. It's just the belief and the integrity of the belief that then activates that DNA strand or that light message to tell all your cells and your body, to tell your energetic and emotional bodies that this is the command. So there will be a lot more understanding of what the DNA is. Even your visualization of DNA is, or your visual images of what you have now, we would say is like 1% of actually what it is and what it looks like, and its full potential. You get a lot of the twists and strands and twists because this is how energy moves. Think about the kundalini and the spiral going up and going down. It's energetic movement. You don't have a measuring tool to see and to identify and to snapshot what energy in motion looks like. So it will always look like a spiral, because that's the reflection of what's happening in you and around you. Even when you slice and slice and slice under your microscopic tools that you are using, it's not enough to capture the essence of what it is. So now that the 5th dimensional, 6th dimensional, 7th dimensional, 8th dimensional gateways are open, you are exposed to more light. You are exposed to more messages. You are exposed to more ingredients coming into your saucepan. And what are you going to do with this now? So the expansion of your DNA, and more importantly, the quality of the tuning into what the DNA is saying, will become more evident and more clear. This is how you take your power back. This is the message. This is why talking about DNA is important, because when you are self-aware that you are adding in layers of light or being exposed to more layers of light and messages in the DNA, and you're aware and you can hear them and you act accordingly, this is how you take your power back, because you have the full understanding that the power is within you. You make the choices, you make the decisions, you make. It's on you. It's nothing external from you. The only thing that is external from you is the light that is coming through. And you are the one choosing to be more open or less open. And you can make the decision today, now, in this present moment, right now, to be more open to light. Once you make this choice and you actively align with this choice to be open to more light, you will see your life change immediately. It's not that, okay, I am open to more light, let me look for all the crap that's going on in my life. You won't even look for the crap anymore because you are open to more light. So only light can come through. So that's how you take your power back. That's how you know you are the powerful being, and that everything is a reflection of you and what your energy is at. So if you are constantly busy, let's use that example, then of course your DNA will reflect busy. It will run at a different occupancy or at a different pace because you want to be busy. You think you're busy. You act like you're busy. You don't have time for things. So you will always be shown that you don't have time for things. That sits in the DNA. Your DNA can only hold things and light to the point of what you don't have time for or what you're too busy for. So if you stop that behavior today and think that, and make a commitment and say to yourself, I will be open to more light, however that shows up. I am physically and energetically ready to hold more light. Immediately, that busy nature and the pace will shift, because you are commanding something that your cells are already trained to do. They're just waiting for the command. There's so much power in knowing what your DNA is and what you're made up of. There's so much magic in the flow of the energy and how that manifests and how that then reflects as a picture, as a motion picture in front of you, and how you interact with that. So what are you commanding your DNA to do? What is your DNA doing now? Because if it's a copy paste of yesterday, it's time to make a change. If it's a copy paste of yesterday and the day before, it's time to make the change. If it's a copy paste of yesterday, the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that, and you've been doing the same thing for 10 years without any change, it's time to make that step. The magic of humanity and the magic of stepping into a new dimensional reality is about taking your ownership of your power back and being open for more expansive things to happen to you, more expansive experiences, more expansion of light. How much light can you possibly hold in your physical body? Enough for you to radiate when you walk into a room, enough for you to know each room you walk into will have exactly what you want, enough for you to go on a walk and for everybody else to feel the radiance of your light. Just like when ascended masters or angels or beings of light come to you, they come to you in what looks like a physical form, but it is light. So you have the same abilities to hold that much light, to be that much light. You just feel that you need to be more physical than you do light, but it's only because you believe your DNA cannot change and that you don't have the power to do that. So this is a fundamental belief in alchemy, in magic, in changing and shifting, in instructing, in conducting, in all of the DNA cycles that you've had. Think about when you're a baby and now you're living an adult life. How many times has your DNA changed from then to then? Thousands. So why in your adult life does it not change at the same pace? It's merely your belief in knowing that it cannot change because this is who I am and that's it. I'm an angry person. Everybody knows that about me. You're not an angry person. You've had things to be angry about. You've had experiences, but it's not in your DNA. That anger cannot live in your DNA. So you make up that you're angry every single day to remember who you are. It's just a memory that you're living in and living out, because anger cannot live in the DNA. It can live in your energetic body and in your chakras, which keeps you low vibrational. But if you are that angry person that today wakes up and says, I want to have more light, I am open to being more light, that's the command that your cells have been waiting for. That's the command that the DNA needs for instruction to be more light, and you will automatically step into new light and into a new timeline where anger just cannot exist at the point of where it has every other day. The teachings of power and teachings of you bringing back your power, holding on to your power, that you are the power, that the mind is the power, that all of these things are just scratching the surface of what power really is. Standing in your power without ego, without any other intention other than being back into your purity, is what power means. It's not about big and strong. It's not about taking over. It's not about divide and conquer. That's not what power is. That's a low vibrational understanding of the energy of power. But when it's a high vibrational understanding of power, it's going back to the purity of source and knowing that you are the walking embodiment of light. That is the truest power. when people have that feeling, they don't know how to interpret it. They don't know how to integrate it. They don't know how to engage with it. So it comes off as overpowering, or the toxic masculine or the toxic feminine, or however it manifests, because they're not putting it together that it's purity in its source. They're putting it as in a feeling of power. And how do I get more of that? And how do I get more of that? Because it's such a beautiful feeling when you are of high vibrational divine light and can bring it into your being as creation and as pure essence. And it's not something that comes from the mind, it comes from the heart, because you are attracting it from what already exists. You're not creating it. It already is in the ether. It's around you. It's already in the quantum field. You're just tapping into it as your own pure source. So there's a misunderstanding and a misconception of the word power. And the children that are being born now already are coming into the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensional reality with the understanding that they are in control of, or they have the power to be their divine creation and can command and demand their DNA to do whatever they want it to do. They're coming in with this understanding and without the forgetful veil. They're not going to forget that part of them. They are going to really step into and really elevate timelines where unbelievable mystical beings and experiences will start to come as a normal everyday type of thing. You just will know your normal everyday to be more and more magical. So they're coming in with that because you are holding the light and the planet is holding the light for that to come through, because there's enough light on the planet now to hold 5th, 6th, 7th dimensional realities where these things can exist and can only exist. So be ready and prepare yourself in your own light for what is the new normal. And the strands of DNA are not really strands, they are layers of light, specks of light. And each speck has a message of light from an ancestor, an angel, a galactic being, something that's in your soul contract, for lots of different things. But understanding that they're light messages that are interacting with other light messages and just waiting for command is a very different understanding of mechanical DNA.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing all of that on it. And so to command it, all we have to do is set an intent base. Is it? Like we just have not set enough attention around.
You can start with saying the intention of, I want to hold more light. I'm ready to hold more light. I have the space and the capability and the understanding to hold more light. That's the intention to start with. because the whole you are source has been taken out of, has been manipulated in a way, because you are source. But there's layers of, unworthiness, and how can I be source if this is happening to me, and is there really a source? But you are the source. It's just like a power outlet. You are the energetic source. You are energized, you are powered up. You are the source of your own energy. That's what source means. You don't go out and look for a source or the source to assist you in finding your own energy. There have been sorcerers and this kind of timelines of things, and that is purely someone being in their own power and not being able to integrate it themselves and want to control and manipulate surroundings and matter and other things. But you are your own source. So when you say I'm connected to source, you're connected to yourself. Or you could think of it as light and source as a flashlight reflecting down on you into this physical manifestation, but there's still one light that's connected. It's just a different physical experience in each layer.
It's the understanding that it's still you. It's always been you. It's
still
always
you.
will be you. It's you, and you are all of it and none of it in all aspects of creation.
Correct.
Or existence.
Correct. Correct. So really encouraging people to hold more light, because no matter what is happening around you externally, there is attachment to those things and there is energetic imprints to those things. So if you can step out of those stories and come back into the self and commit to yourself and to your body and command the DNA to start holding more light, the reflection will be light. And that's change, and that's power. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I want to touch on, you separated or you explained the difference between your energetic body and your like emotional body and how that's separate from your DNA. Can you explain a little more on that?
So your DNA is physical evidence of your light body. How do you think it's powered? How do you think you're walking around with an electrical magnetic field around you with your heart beating and breathing? So the evidence of your energetic body or your light body is the DNA. This is why the measuring tools of how you measure it or see it is physical. They're not capturing the light aspect. Just like they can't really capture the electromagnetic field, but they're getting close, but that's been there this whole time.
Yeah, we know it exists, but yeah, I get what you mean.
We know it exists.
Yeah.
So DNA lives in your physical body as the evidence of your light body. So light manifested itself in this way.
As our DNA. And then our energetic body and our emotional body are the things that we choose to connect with. It's not the emanation of the light that is us projecting. It's the consciousness deciding on, I want to engage with this, I feel love, I feel joy, I feel hate, I feel anger.
No. So the light body is, you have to have a light body to be physical, because your light body is the projection of your physicality. Okay? Your emotional body was constructed for you to connect your physical body to your light body. So think of it as the data port connecting two-way communication, so that when you are feeling an emotion, your light body can send more light or attract more beings of light to surround you through those times. However, that's the plug in. The output is that emotion gets stored in your physical body as either memory or developing part of your personality. And then in your energetic body, the emotions are getting stored in your chakra areas, which then blockages of those areas then manifest as physical pain, which to eliminate, you need to call in more light.
So, okay, I'm getting it a lot more. So we're not necessarily distorting the DNA. We're lowering the vibration of the output of the DNA.
You're using it in the most minimalistic way possible, like seeing it as it has no potential. However, it's only potential.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really a relearning of everything we understood as DNA, because there's so much of this belief of we distorted or mutated the DNA, but we haven't. We're diminishing what the DNA is, and as a result, the manifestation of that, the result of that imprint is kind of what we see as distortion, but it's our own beliefs, thoughts.
Or even when you say the word mutation, you're just muting a voice or muting light to manifest.
Yeah.
It's all possible, it's all potential, it's all there. You are the one deciding.
And so as we remove those layers, the power comes back to us, which is the power coming back to us. And then the unlimited potentials, the law of potential, we can then reach and step in and walk as that.
So think of this, bringing this understanding of DNA with the title of Bring Your Power Back to You as like lesson 1 in the law of potential.
Yeah, I'm like seeing where this goes, and I'm like putting it together as we speak of like, oh, this is how we access. If it's unlimited potential, and we can only access it as we remove these layers, and then we're just pure potential, pure potentiality, ready to express itself at any time, which is amazing and incredible.
So each time you come in as an experience, you're coming in as unlimited potential via the law of potential. You can only have a human experience with this element. However, that element is like one droplet in your whole experience, whereas it should be the foundation of your whole experience, because then you're working within the law of potential, not even acknowledging its existence or the power of it.
Yeah, it just is.
It just is.
Wow, that's exciting. Really cool.
So you will start to surround yourself with more things of light, changing brands of bread and milk, and changing brands of your clothing and your cars and how you get around, because those lower vibrational things are just not an energetic and a light match for you anymore. You will surround yourself with crystals and plants and things of light because you are holding more light. So there is surroundings of a higher vibrational requirement or a demand to keep your vibration high. You will perhaps change the way that you transact in terms of energy exchange and money, and the way that you are spending things will be less, because that is not the light version of energy exchange. So just take awareness of how many things around you or how many things you're engaging with that have changed already and will only change to be a different way of living, a different way of experiencing. Because it can only be light. If you are holding more light, everything around you has to hold more light. It's just how it works. And if it's not, it will literally disappear. You will never hear from that person again. The WhatsApp group will just not even work anymore. Your internet connection, every time you want to jump on a social media thing that is not of light, it will just not work. And these are the signs to see and to check in, and to not call your IT company to check this. It's check your energy. Is this of service to me now? Is this my highest vibration? Probably not. That's why it's not working. The shop is out of your favorite things. Maybe it's time to change what those favorite things are. Not complain to the shop that they don't have them. Because this other thing might be the best next thing for you to then shift you into a higher vibration. Everything is always happening for you. Nothing is ever happening to you. This is strand 1 of the DNA. And where your DNA has gotten maybe mixed messages is that you have so many elements of DNA from ancestors and galactic beings and ancestral and all of this stuff to make up the humans, which is true in a sense. But it's also the messages of these beings and of these people. Not only their physical DNA, it's the messages of light that they wish to carry in you and see as a reflection in you.
Yeah, it really, when we don't accept that as even existing, you could see very quickly how we just misunderstand all of DNA if DNA is
Correct.
made of that.
So let's say, for example, we can feel you having questions about, okay, what about reptilian DNA? I know they're in us. So does that mean that I have to be, a negative person, or I really like the heat, or like, what does that mean? The reptilian DNA is, or the messages of the reptilian DNA is longevity. It's living through anything in your environment and around you. Reptilians were the first ones on this planet. It's endurance. Those are the messages of love and light from the reptilians.
Yeah.
So you can see how that message can be manipulated to another side if you are not holding enough light.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Endurance means I need to take over this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
We might not make it, so let's
we
figure
might
this
not
out.
make it, so let's kill off everybody.
Yeah.
And when you're in a lower vibration and you're not holding enough light, perhaps that might be true and assigned to you in your soul contract, perhaps. However, now that you're at enough light to understand what that means, it's about you. It's always about you. Those messages come from love and light. Think of it as love letters, or letters and messages that have been passed on from every dimensional realm in existence that's living inside of you, that wants to be lived out, which is a really beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, and those are the words that I was thinking. Like, that's really a beautiful thing.
So you're not victim to the DNA. You're not victim to
Anything.
people messing up your genome and stuff like that. You are the one creating the genome. You are the one activating each message coming to life. Why do you think you have a connection to Jesus or to God or to Angel Raphael? Because they've left a message inside of you to connect to them, to uphold healing for yourself, to bring the violet flame and be a vision and a reflection of transmutation for forgiveness, for love, for all of these things. So just, you'll need to rewatch and to re-listen to this several times to understand the vibrational transmission that's coming through, because each time you are different, but each time you will hear another sentence or word that you didn't hear before, because we are speaking to your DNA through this transmission. Your brain is already switched off. You don't need to calculate and to work out how you're going to do this and how you're going to put an action plan in place to hold more light. You don't need to do that. We are speaking to the DNA through this transmission now. It's already done.
Mm-hmm.
So each time you listen back, it will be another layer and another layer and another layer.